Welcome to Flex Life Fi.
What are we talking about today, John?
We are talking about all the businesses that we've tried in the past.
That failed or
But,
succeeded?
well, I think we're talking about the failed and or never did and or never started and or
Oh,
what we're currently starting or done or just whatever.
whatever. Okay.
Whatever.
Name one.
Well, I just decided to do an Amazon store.
Oh, you're going to have to tell me how that goes because that might be something we're interested in or not. I hope that goes very well.
You never know.
So, do you want to talk about any of the specifics or are you just trying to look for different businesses, low cost, setup, high return? Are you looking at the ROI or return on investment or what are you looking at?
I think we're just kind of wondering what we've explored in the past and why you did or why you didn't.
Okay, so you did it because.
I was looking for something that could be hands off ish, so I wanted something that I have tried the Amazon before, but I did not want to be the one ordering a whole bunch of products
Or sending it
and
out.
sending it out and having to do like put the label on and ship the product to so and so.
Yeah, you'd have to
That's
have
not
products.
something that I have the time for or the ability to take a whole bunch of stuff to the post office and figure it out. And someone decided they could help me out with it. So,
So
hush
you're
hush.
partnership, right?
Yeah, so I'm trying to get some help with it, and so I think I found somebody that can help with that.
Cool. I think one of the first businesses Bill and I tried was when we were in our early 30s. We opened up a coffee shop. We built it.
So I don't think you need more caffeine.
No, but in the time, it was a little bit ahead of its time, and this town had no coffee shop, and probably before Starbucks was in most. So I'm dating myself. It's like 22 years ago or something.
So you called it Star Dollars.
No, we called it Java Zone for a coffee zone, and it was a drive-through in a very small town, and it would have probably did better had it been in a bigger market, but we were right off the interstate about maybe 0.3 miles. Trouble we had with that was dependable help. I was working night shift, Bill was working day shift, so when the day shift person didn't show up, guess who got to go to work?
Shaggy?
No,
Oh.
Shaggy would not work it, but she was too stealing from the drawer
Oh.
and giving out free drinks to people, so we couldn't maintain that kind of. And I couldn't work all night in the ICU being responsible for people and then hardly make anything during the day working at a coffee shop. So we had to close that down and we sold the building and all its contents and kind of used a home equity line of credit to learn that mistake with.
Understandable. So I have tried multiple other like websites. I have done the like Etsy T-shirt, the scrub hat kind of thing.
You didn't make them, you just sold them?
I had my aunt and mom try making some scrub hats and
Oh,
then
nice.
sell those.
I wish I had
It
that
turns out you can't make a sweatshop out of your family. It doesn't work out too well.
Your mom didn't appreciate it?
As much as that was fun, if you get big orders and that kind of thing, it's no fun for anybody.
Deadlines.
Deadlines are no good, and there's not really a margin on it, and then like you feel bad that you can't really pay anything either.
Yeah.
So there was never any real money made either.
Right.
So retail in general, never really a great thing. So that was kind of out. Let's see. I've invested in some oil wells, but those are still kind of coming online. So there's not a whole lot of return yet.
That's like mineral rights or
Mineral rights, I'm looking at
mining.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the active interest to be able to write more off on taxes because turns out with a higher income, you want to be able to write off more on taxes. So that is what I'm looking at in the near-term future. but I want to see how other things work soon before I get into that.
Well, we had Mac anesthesia seminars, and when you have a seminar or a conference, in order to book the hotel, we had a lot of fun doing it. We met the best people in anesthesia. It was a CRNA only conference, CRNAs for CRNAs, and we met some amazing people. A lot of AA and A past presidents came and spoke with us, but you're paying their travel, their hotel, their honorarium. You're guaranteeing that you're going to book so many hotel rooms. So, like, let's say if you book 50 hotel rooms or reserve 50 at a conference rate, if you only sell 40 of them, you have to meet a certain quota, so you have to pay those out of pocket. And when we were down at the Embassy Suites facing the ocean in Deerfield Beach, even if we were paying for them, they were going to re-rent them. And that kind of infuriated me. I'm like, I'm ordering $15,000 worth of food here for our conference. I'm paying for all our speakers, so I was at least paying for 5 hotel rooms to 6 hotel rooms per conference. And then they add on top of that anything you didn't sell. So that was a little expensive. And you could never guarantee how many people was going to stay with their mom's friend or had a condo they could stay at free or...
Well, and 20 people decided to spend get the double room. That way they could double up with a buddy and save some money.
Right. So that was very hard to predict and how many you would have. And you don't want to have a conference and then people say there's no rooms. So you kind of have to, if I'm going to have 70 people at this conference, then you might not only need 15 rooms.
Right.
And you have to have a minimum.
Of course.
We really enjoyed it. We met, like I said, great people. We had a lot of fun doing it. It was a lot of work leading up to it, but then it was like a blast because you're on vacation with friends, and we made it all inclusive where we're planning these events and you're welcome to join us and the speakers. So there's not, the speakers are here and you're here, or you never have access to them. They had pretty much, and it was a great experience, but...
And then this little thing called COVID came around.
Yes. Like a week after we got done with a Big Sky, Montana conference, we were like literally on our way home when things started shutting down. So that kind of put the squelch because people want to do things online and not spend the money and take part of their vacation to go do their continuing education. But it was a lot of fun. We enjoyed it, but not profitable.
Do you think it's harder now to set up a business that will survive than it maybe was 20 years ago?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, you see retail stores go out of business on a daily basis or chains shut down and that sort of thing. And mom and pop stores online has changed things. But one thing that I always advise, and I know you advise and do it as well, is we've had a friend, start a business, and you got to have 5 years of income to support that business.
Right.
To say, like we have this boutique hotel going on. It's not paying for itself. It doesn't cover all its bills, so who's going to pay it? So we go to work to pay the bills of the hotel until it's able to support itself. And that's what I'm saying is you've got to do a lot of free research or online research or read books, videos, all the free education you can to know how long do I give it a go
before
you
either say it's going to make it or not going to make it.
Or it's not going to make it, yeah. Some other things that Bill and I have done is we are private investors into a book. It's called Life is Rosie, and it's about Rosie the reindeer, and it's about how she overcomes her obstacles of being compared to other people to find her talent and to find her shine. So, Rosie Finds Her Shine is the first book, and the second book is Monty the Moose, and it's for little boys. It's like there's pajamas, there's what are they called? Flip books for kids like Socorro's age, and then there's different products that you can buy. There's a doll that you can change your outfit and that sort of thing. So I'm sure there's Murphy the Moose that'll come out with his own outfits. And
Of
so
course.
we've invested part of our solo 401k into that. We've invested into a trucking company.
Nice. Yeah.
We've done private loans for people, and that all depends on who you vet and who you give the money to, as
Right.
whether you get your return or not. So Bill and I, as business entrepreneurial,
Yeah.
have sought out private funding, and the advantage to private funding for our boutique hotel was we didn't have to pay flood insurance that was like $30,000 a year. So you didn't have to go through all
The hoops.
the hoops of, like, we would have had to went through a commercial loan process and appraisal, and all that costs money. So it's added into the loan that you have to pay back. So
Right.
it was a no-brainer when we got an offer from a private lender, and he says, I'll give it to you for this percent. And it was basically cheaper than the bank, and we didn't have to pay all the origination fees. So
Awesome.
you can handle all that through an attorney and don't have to go through like a title company and that sort of thing and have it that person added to the title. We've loaned money so people could buy a car. We have loaned money out of our 401k for debt consolidation, and that person has never missed a payment.
Awesome.
And then other things where it hasn't worked out.
Of course.
It's highly variable on the person and the business, and if they're prepared to eat those costs should something go wrong, or
of
you
course.
get shut down, or COVID, or whatever. So you've done a laundromat.
I've done the laundromat, and there's, I just think with business, there's always, are you willing to take the risk? I mean, I've even done day trading before, and that's super risky. It's kind of like gambling, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and the big thing is, are you willing to take the risk for the reward? So there are a huge plethora of risks, and what type of risk are you willing to take for what type of reward? So the smallest, least risky thing that you can do in life is go get a W-2 job. Most of the time, people say that's the least risky, is you go to work for a set of hours and you get a paycheck at the end of the week, the day, the 2 weeks, whatever period that time is. And that's the, lowest risk for the lowest amount of reward.
Well, when we did that Robert Kiyosaki
Right.
employee, they said that's the highest risk because you're putting all your eggs in somebody else's decision-making basket.
Right.
You could get laid off, you could get fired,
And you have one client,
your
business.
employer, yeah. So I guess it depends on how you look at it, but if you are one of those people that can't balance, I got to go 6 weeks without a check, or I got to help fund this until it can get going on its own. We had talked about before we came on this podcast that, for me to go work in a coffee shop when I was a nurse,
Right.
it was a lower
Reward, lower income.
income, lower wage for me to even pay myself, at the time, let's say it was $8 or $9 an hour.
Right.
I was probably making 27 as a supervisor in the ICU on nights supervising in the ICU. So that's like a third
So you couldn't trade off and just say, I'm just going to work my
coffee shop.
coffee shop even though I own it.
Right. And to pay myself $27 for 3 hours or work one as a nurse, it was more lucrative. So you want to get something and you want to hand off tasks to people that are qualified to do it and enjoy doing it. But it was better off for me to go to work and make nursing pay than make barista pay at the time,
Right.
which was before the barista
Right.
was...
A FI, barista FI.
was a thing. So some people want to retire from their high responsibility, high stress job and become barista-fy, because one of the things, like if you work at Starbucks, excuse me, they provide health care insurance.
Right. So you have to be able to, look at the possibilities of what you're going to do and how it's going to play into your overall plan, right?
Well, one thing that you did that I was very impressed with is commercial. You bought that building,
Right.
and ended up he got a. Well, you tell me about it. 5-year lease.
So the triple net lease, which is great. It did take about 9 months, so I had to make sure that I was going to be able to cover the mortgage and insurance and taxes and all the utilities until we found somebody that was willing to rent it.
But I guess I didn't know how to do that. So how did you know how to find or put it with a broker or what?
No, I had the for rent sign just
In the
sitting
in the window. Really?
and then
H&R Block came by?
They did. So we had one actually 3 doors down from the laundromat. And
The H&R Block?
Yeah, and they decided to move.
Oh, nice. So it was a better deal for them or more space or something, right?
Something must have happened with their
Lease?
or their tenancy at the other building.
So while you hit on that, some people don't know what a triple net is.
So triple net means that within the
Triple net lease.
lease, they are also paying all the taxes, the insurance, insurance,
Maintenance,
and,
isn't it? Like repairs?
with some exceptions. So like the exterior of the building, and like roof, windows, main utilities are still my responsibility. But anything on the inside that they have done, anything that they do to the building is still their responsibility.
So if it became a hair salon, they'd have to put in the booths. They'd have to do everything. So, yeah, triple net is something that Bill and I have wanted to do in the past. The other thing we really, really, really want to do is have an RV park. Because once you put in the infrastructure, and we've talked to several RV park owners, once you put in the infrastructure, if you're in the location where the demand is needed and that sort of thing, when somebody pulls in their camper, fifth wheel, whatever, they're maintaining everything of their vehicle. You're just maintaining the power, electric,
spot.
and sewer.
Yeah.
And, putting in the infrastructure of paved roads or dirt roads or whatever. And so it's kind of, once you get up and going, it's a low overhead
Right.
type of thing. But
Taxes and insurance, that's about it.
yeah. So you don't have to go in and fix a roof. You don't have to go in and fix the AC.
Nice.
They have a leak in their,
Camper, they just need to move.
well,
Get it to a shop.
they have to handle it because it's their own private thing. So it's not shouldn't be a high maintenance, maybe you get a campground host. We were at Custer State Park a week and a half ago, and they were looking for volunteer campground host. And I'm like, wow, if you could even get your help as a volunteer, that would be great. So
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
what else have you invested in? Long-term, short-term rentals we both have done. We've talked
Right.
about. One thing that you were talking about writing off on taxes is that we had to get Bill out of his W-2 job and into being our real estate professional because we were both trying to handle things on the off time of when I wasn't in the operating room. And so we had to retire him off the railroad. And what it ended up doing is saving us money because then we could write off all of our real estate things before we got the boutique hotel going. We could write off all these things on our income
Right.
with anesthesia. So
And that's why Francisco's our real estate professional.
right, it just helps out so much when you're in a partnership with your partner who already you partnered with your
Right.
mom and your parents and that sort of thing. So use the resources and the assets that you have around you, and when people offer you private money,
And try and take it.
yeah, it works out. So it saves you a whole bunch of money and makes something might be more affordable.
Right.
Anything else you've tried?
I don't think so. I mean, I've looked at a lot of different opportunities and possibilities, but every.
Didn't you do a locum CRNA website page or
Oh,
something?
we have. I still have that, and I've tried like a job board and job page. I've tried multiple different things that kind of fit into that, but we still have it. I still have it. I have the education program that Vincent and I have done, and
What's the name of that?
oh my God, I'm all of a sudden blanking.
So it's there's a lot. What him and Vincent's done is when you start out into a 1099 type of job or any type of job where you're not getting a W-2, and that's just an IRS status. If you say W-2, it's a W-2 employee. 1099 employee, usually with no benefits and a higher hourly wage, is there's certain things that
It's locuminstitute.com.
okay, cool. Go visit that if you want to learn about things that you can deduct and how to.
That's going from being a W-2 CRNA to being full 1099, and we go over a lot of that transition part, and then setting up a lot of the retirement things. We talk about a lot of the differences between Schedule C and being an S Corp, that kind of thing.
But it could apply to other professions as well, right?
Oh, obviously. Anything that would be, especially in the medical field, going to being a 1099 or a locum professional.
And no matter what you do, if you go from one job classification or filing taxes and working sporadically or under contract and stuff, there's nuances to learn, and I highly recommend checking that out because if you can save some money on taxes, who doesn't want to save money on taxes?
Oh, absolutely. And we're always open to questions, and I know Suzanne and I would both be open to questions on this podcast as well. As we're definitely on the FI side, but we're also on the business side. And so we're definitely open to those questions. I mean, we just released the Solo 401k and the Self-Directed Solo 401k podcast this week, and these will be coming out in the next couple of weeks. So we're definitely very into the retirement and the saving on taxes and business oriented. So any of those questions, if we don't know the answer, we're definitely intrigued and we want to know.
Yeah.
So we'll find it out.
We want to find out from you, what businesses have you tried and what obstacles did you run into, or did you just fall into a pot of gold and didn't have to pay taxes? Where's that leprechaun? No, where's the rainbow at, right?
Well, the rainbow with the pot of gold, because we might join you.
Yeah. What have you tried? What's worked? What hasn't worked? What have you thought about? Bill and I thought about a UPS store too, but that's again where you're buying
a job,
buying yourself a job. So, like I said, I didn't want to give up nursing to go to barista. I liked barista, but it didn't pay the bills, and I couldn't be at two places at once. So, you don't want to buy yourself a new job where you're committing yourself more for less pay because you have to pay for the business as well. So
yeah, and we don't need a third and fourth and fifth job. We're
got
looking
plenty.
for less jobs. So if we can find other people who, not how, to do those jobs, we're happy to take on extra businesses and that kind of thing, as long as there's a way to manage the managers.
Yeah.
So if you have other ideas or something that we should look at, we're open to that too.
Yeah, let's start a discussion and drop us a note in the comments or just a statement.
Or private note.
Yeah.
All right. Let us know.